Welcome back to the channel. Today we've got our 5 best bets for college basketball here on Thursday, February 27th. We're coming off a 4-1 day yesterday, and if Ohio State didn't shoot 80% in the first half against USC yesterday, we probably would have went 5-0. So again, a 4-1 day yesterday. We'll take it. Let's keep on moving on and keep on improving from that yesterday as we look for the sweep today. Knock on wood. Get ready for a lot of mid-majors today. There's not many huge college basketball games today, at least in the power conferences. Rutgers goes to Michigan. I'm not going to touch that 9.5 point spread. I think there's one more kind of big game today. I think that's it, actually. I think it's the only power 6 basketball game today, I think. Regardless, get ready for some mid-majors. And before we get into the best bets, folks, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for some more daily college basketball best bets here on the channel. In a couple hours here, we will have our NBA predictions as well for today. 5 games in the NBA with the Lakers and the Minnesota Timberwolves in the big one tonight. And also make sure to go check out our UFC Fight Night Cop versus Almabayev predictions. That is linked in the description down below. It is the final MMA video here in the Greedo Plays channel because starting on March 2nd, we are going to Greedo Plays MMA. Make sure to subscribe to that new channel that is linked in the description down below. So go on to our first best bet of the video, and we go to the American East as we have got the UMBC Good Boys taking on the Albany Great Danes. No, the UMBC Retrievers take on Albany here. I'm going to take the home team here in UMBC. This is a good shooting team. Okay, they're a really good shooting team. Other than that, they don't do much else that well, but they should be able to outshoot Albany in this basketball game. I honestly believe so. This team shoots lights out. They shoot a bunch of threes every single game, and Marcus Banks Jr. just broke the single season 3-point record for UMBC college basketball history. I mean, this guy will legitimately attempt 15 3-pointers a game. And let's be honest, Marcus Banks is a big factor of whether or not this UMBC team is going to win, right? Marcus Banks, in their win over NJIT last Saturday, shot 15 3-pointers and went 9 for 15 and scored 35 points. He shot 15 in a loss to Bryant this year. He went 6 for 15 from beyond the arc. This guy is going to launch them, and honestly, this entire team is going to launch threes the entire game. That's what they do. Bryce Johnson, their other guard, went 4 for 9 in the NJIT game, scored 29 points. Again, this team is going to shoot all night long. That's how they play, and it's a style that can beat Albany. It definitely can. Again, the Retrievers 13-6, middle of the pack squad in the American East, but they own a victory over Albany earlier this season, January 23rd in Albany, New York. UMBC went on the road and beat this team in overtime. And how did UMBC win this basketball game? Well, it honestly wasn't much 3-point shooting. I mean, they did attempt quite a bit, but it was really what they were able to do, non-shooting wise, at least beyond the arc. Bryce Johnson had 23 points, Marcus Banks had 21, but I mean, both those guys only shot 2 3-pointers or only hit 2 3-pointers that game. It was actually the free throw shooting that really won this game for UMBC. I mean, Johnson attempted 13 free throws, Banks went 7 for 7, Ace Valentine went 5 for 5, Josh Adunawo went 3 for 9. Again, that's not the style they want to play. In an ideal situation, again, UMBC is going to take a million shots, and I expect them to do that, obviously, in this game, and I expect them to beat the Great Danes. Now, for Albany, this is a squad that is 14-14, 6-7 in the American East compared to UMBC's 5-9. They've won 2 out of 3 going into this one, back-to-back victories over UMass Lowell, a good overtime victory over them, and then they win over Maine in 2 games before. Their last one, obviously, was a loss to New Hampshire by 11 points. The Great Danes are led by Byron Joshua, who averages 14 points a game. Amari Marshall averaging 13.5. But again, Albany lost to UMBC the first time around. I get it, it was a close game, but again, UMBC goes on the road to Albany, beats this Great Danes squad, and they're just stylistically a really weird team. Again, guys, I'll be completely honest with you. This is dependent on if they can get that shooting going or not. I mean, we saw this a couple days ago in a spot where we had East Michigan, right? They ended up losing the basketball game, but East Michigan started the game, I think, 0 for 16 from beyond the arc. We can't have a start like that here for the UMBC Retrievers. We need them to get going early, and again, there's a reason why Marcus Banks broke the single season record for most 3-points hit in UMBC history. The guy can shoot it. Bryce Johnson can shoot it as well. Josh Adunawo, again, is not a shooter. I don't think, hit a three-pointer all year long. He's just more of their big inside. But it's all about Bryce Johnson and Marcus Banks, and it's all about the shooting here out of the UMBC Retrievers. And I think this team gets it done. They're a weird team, I'll be honest with you. They're a weird team because of their shooting ability. They don't do much else all that well, but they can win games strictly off their three-point shooting, and obviously that's what we're relying on here. Again, if they were able to go to Albany the first time, I think they're able to do it again here in Baltimore. Give me the UMBC Retrievers to win. We're taking a straight money line bet here. Give me UMBC at home, plus 100 as dogs. Give me the Retrievers. We go on to our second best bet of the video. We go to the American Conference, as we have got the North Texas Mean Green going to Boca Raton to take on the Florida Atlantic Owls. I'm taking North Texas on the road. Minus 120, minus 1.5. Let's just play the money line here for the second best team in the American Conference. The American goes as follows, obviously, as we're now preparing for these conference tournaments that are going to be coming up, obviously, in March. Memphis is the best squad in the conference. Yes, they have lost some games this season, but only 2. But the Tigers do feel like the best team right now going into the American conference tourney. North Texas is not bad. UAB is not bad either. Tulane is okay, and then there's everybody else who are just either mediocre or not very good. I put FAU again in just the mediocre / kind of good category. The Owls are 10-5 this season, or 8-6 this season in the American Conference, but they are coming off back-to-back losses to a Wichita State team that's really caught fire recently. They have a win over Memphis as well, along with Jamal Mashburn and the Temple Owls. Regardless, FAU again coming off 2 straight losses, a home loss in Boca Raton to Wichita, and then a loss on the road by 19 points at Memphis. Prior to that, though, they were on a 5-game winning streak, beating Texas San Antonio, beating USF, going to Tulsa and winning, beating those lowly Charlotte 49ers, and then a road win against Temple by 2 points. I believe Mashburn, though, was out in that game for that game, I believe. I think Mashburn didn't play. Regardless, FAU was winning basketball games. They are coming off back-to-back losses. Momentum-wise, again, that is on the side of the North Texas Mean Green, who have won now 4 consecutive games going into this one. A win over Tulane, a win at Rice, a win over Tulsa at home, and then most recently a road victory in Tampa against USF, winning that game by 7 points over the Bulls. The Mean Green are 20-6 this season. This is not a bad basketball team. They've got a couple guys who can score, but at the head of that is going to be Aiden Wright. Wright averages 14 points a game. Brendan Laurent averages 12 as well. For the FAU Owls, they are led by Caleb Glenn, Trey Carroll, Baba Miller. Those are their main guys on this team. But I think the all-around better team is the North Texas Mean Green. I don't think that's too hot of a take here. I get it. Again, they have to go on the road for this spot. But the first time they played FAU, they won the game in Texas. They won that game by 13 points, 77-64. Sure, since then, again, they've lost back-to-back spots to UTSA and against Alabama Birmingham. Again, UAB, the Blazers are a very solid team, but again, they've recovered since. They've won 4 in a row. I feel okay with this North Texas Mean Green squad here on the road. FAU, again, is not playing with any momentum right now. They've lost back-to-back games. They lost the first time around in North Texas. It's an 8-6 team in the conference versus a team that's 11-3. I think North Texas, again, is the all-around much better basketball team, and I think, again, even with the game being in Boca Raton, Florida, I think North Texas is more than willing and more than capable of overcoming that. Again, it doesn't really matter who gets going scoring-wise because you're going to get a mixed bag of that here with North Texas. Again, it could be Laurent, who's been very good. It could be Aiden Wright. There's a bunch of guys who can score for this North Texas team. But again, they were able to beat FAU the first time around. I think they're able to do it again here. I'm going to take North Texas to go on the road here. I believe this game's on ESPN2. It is in Boca Raton. We're taking the North Texas Mean Green. You can take them to cover the 1.5. You can take them on the money line. Give me the Mean Green on the road in Boca Raton. We go on to our third best bet of the video. And again, another pick'em spot. There's a lot of pick'ems today. We're gonna have one more coming up that's not a pick'em, but we go to Stevensville, Texas for the Albany Christian Wildcats and the Tarleton State Texans. I believe it's definitely the first time this season we've talked about Tarleton State. They are a 6-7 squad in the WAC, taking on the 6-6 Albany Christian Wildcats, obviously in the WAC conference. The WAC's odd. I don't think anybody believes a team other than Utah Valley or GCU, obviously Grand Canyon, are going to win the WAC title. I mean, those are by far the 2 best teams in this conference. We had a couple spots. We had a spot last week where we picked UT Arlington to beat Cal Baptist at home, and they did in a very fun game in overtime. I think that game went to overtime, or it was right down to the wire, if I remember correctly. Anyways, I really like the spot here for Albany Christian. I get it, they're going on the road for this game, but everything points to an Albany Christian victory here. Now, again, ACU is very bad to start WAC play, right? They were 1-6 to start WAC play. This is a team at one point in time that was 9-13. They're 14-13 now. They're playing with a bunch of momentum. They've won their last 5 outings. And again, they started WAC play horrendously, and they didn't have the best non-conference run either, even though they do have a win on the road against Omaha, Nebraska. And the Mavericks aren't bad. Obviously, they got on SportsCenter the other day with their trash can celebration with the Outrunners of All Elite Wrestling, which was pretty cool. But anyways, Albany and Christian, again, once they enter WAC play, they lost to Utah Valley, they lose to Seattle U, they lose to Grand Canyon, they lose to Cal Baptist. They beat Tarleton State the first time around at home by 11 points. Again, that seems to be a theme of this video. We usually try to take teams that win the first matchup. And again, I get it's different now. Albany Christian has to go to Stevensville, Texas. Don't know where that is in Texas, but regardless, they have to go to Tarleton State. But still, that was their first win. That was the win that got Albany and Christian going when they couldn't buy a win. They win that one at home by 11 points. They then proceed to lose back-to-back games to UT Arlington in overtime, and on the road at Cal Baptist, they lose that game by 23 points. But then after that, 5 straight victories for Albany and Christian going into this basketball game. A win on the road at Utah Tech, a win on the road against Southern Utah, a win at home over Seattle University, a home win over Southern Utah, and a home win over Utah Tech. Sure, they have beat only 3 teams in that 5-game stretch, but we know they can beat Tarleton State. It's not like we're just throwing in a different team in the WAC here that they have not been able to beat. No, they've been able to beat Tarleton before, and I don't think this game's going to be any different. Again, this is a team playing with momentum, taking on a team playing with absolutely zero momentum. You look at what Tarleton State has done in their last 4 games. A loss to Seattle University on the road, a loss at Utah Valley, last 5 games, loss at Seattle U, a loss at Utah Valley, a loss at home against Grand Canyon, a win over Seattle U at home, and then a loss at UT Arlington. No momentum is being built right now by the Tarleton State Texans. Albany and Christian is playing with momentum, and again, they won that initial matchup against Tarleton State. Albany and Christian are led by Quinion Williams, who averages 14 points a game. Leonardo Bediol averages 13.5, probably butchered his name, but regardless, Braden Hubbard averages 9. Hunter Jack Madden with 9 as well for this Albany and Christian squad. For Tarleton State, they're led by Boo Boo Benjamin, who averages 14 points a game. Ronnie Harrison will give you 10 a night as well, but I believe he's been dealing with injuries, and Tarleton State's been hit with injuries all year long. Ronnie Harrison has been out since December. Freddie Hicks has been out for a while. He just came back though a couple games ago. I think Bristro missed some games earlier in the year as well. So again, it's been a real mixed bag for Tarleton State, because you look at, again, on paper, you look at their top 5 leading scorers, 4 of them, everyone other than Boo Boo Benjamin, has missed time for Tarleton State. So they really haven't, gotten a chance to become accustomed with one another in the starting lineup, because again, there's been so many injuries and just a revolving door of guys here for Tarleton State. And again, that has to take a toll eventually, and obviously it has all year long, with the Texans finding themselves at 11-17. Now again, we kind of know where the WAC's going to be. I'd be very shocked if the WAC championship game is not Grand Canyon versus Utah Valley. Again, Utah Valley's been good all season. I think, again, in the WAC championship spot, though, maybe the Lopes of GCU do get them, just because, again, Grand Canyon's been in that spot all year long, just for the last 5 years, it feels like, right? GCU's always in that position to make the tourney. But again, we get a chance here for some lower level WAC games. Again, we hunt value. I'm not trying to pick the best games all the time, because some of the best value at times are with games like this. And again, we get an Albany and Christian team that somehow, some way, has found themselves now in 3rd in the WAC conference. They could potentially, again, if they can just win out, they will be 3rd in the WAC tourney if they can get by Tarleton State. They still got to go to UT Arlington. They got to play Utah Valley at home, and they have to play Grand Canyon. So again, a tough schedule ahead, but it's an Albany and Christian team that at one point was in the slums, and they have now worked their way into potentially being the 3 seed in the WAC conference. Again, all the momentum on Albany and Christian's side with 5 straight wins. They're taking on, again, a Tarleton State team that has lost 4 of 5. I'm going to side with the team with momentum, even though, again, the game's on the road for them. They won the first one. I'm taking the Albany and Christian Wildcats on the road to go out there and get the Tarleton State Texans. Give me Albany and Christian on the money line. You can play the spread, but just take the money line. We go on to our 4th best bet of the video, and we go to the Conference USA. Yep. Again, I didn't promise the best games today, because some of the best games, there's just no value in those. Again, like Rutgers, Michigan, I don't mind Rutgers plus 9.5, but It's always a mixed bag with both of those squads. Not just Dylan Harper and Ace Bailey, but with Danny Wolf, Trey Donaldson, Goldine, and that Michigan team. Again, they pulled out a great victory the other night on the road against Nebraska, but Michigan scored like 48 points in that victory. I'm going to stay away from that game. Again, if you forced me to make a pick on the biggest game today, yeah, it's probably Rutgers, but that's not one of the best bets. Instead, we go on to Miami, Florida for FIU and Kennesaw State. Yeah, this is the largest spread we're going to see today, and it is for a road team here in the Kennesaw State Owls, and you're damn right we're taking Kennesaw State. Yeah, FIU's not good, okay? They're just not. And the CUSA is one of these conferences like the CAA, and again, yes, this is a thing in every conference in college basketball, but some more than others. The CUSA is one of the conferences, though, it's really hard to go on the road and win, right? Like, I mean, I've seen like Jacksonville State, who's the supposed best team in the conference, go on the road and lose this year, right? It's just what happens. Jacksonville State's going to get slapped around by Liberty, not just tonight, but in the CUSA championship game as well. And obviously, again, the odds makers reflect that. Liberty minus 6.5. I'm not going to play that personally, but I think Liberty, again, if you're looking at futures right now, Liberty to win the CUSA tournament feels really good. If you can get that anywhere close to plus money, Liberty should outscore all these teams once we get into CUSA tourney play. Anyways, Jacksonville State's completely fraudulent. Trust me, they are. I know, again, Kennesaw's got to go on the road, but FIU's just such a bad team in general. They just are. They've won 2 games all year in the CUSA, and they're against the 2 other worst teams in the Conference USA. Now, Western Kentucky's actually not that bad, even though FIU did beat them by 19 points in early January. WKU, again, yes, they have the 3rd worst record in the CUSA, but they've been very competitive, and again, there is a gap between them. I feel like right now, them and Sam Houston and FIU. And again, the other bad team in the conference that Florida International has beat is Sam Houston. They beat Sam Houston in overtime by 3 points. But again, this is a 2-12 team in the conference. They're coming off 4 straight losses. Home loss to La Tech, 3 straight road games. They lose in El Paso to the Miners. They lose in Las Cruces to the Aggies, and they lose over in, I don't know where in Virginia Liberty is, but they lose to the Flames 58-45, right? And again, Liberty, what I said earlier, again, they're going to find ways to outscore you. Even if it's defensive games like that, Liberty will find ways to outscore you. I just don't, again, FIU, like, regardless of who they play, though, they just don't score. It's a miracle if this team scores 70. And again, it's not like Kennesaw's got the most explosive offense either. I mean, they're coming off a 60-49 loss to New Mexico State. But here's the thing, guys. There's just levels. I get it. They lost on the road to Sam Houston State a couple weeks ago. Okay, that sucks. But again, there are levels to this. Sam Houston is arguably better than FIU. I get it. They lost in overtime to Florida International. But in a neutral site and ultimately in the CUSA Conference tourney, Sam Houston would be expected to beat Florida International. Kennesaw is going on the road in the spot. I get it. That can be tricky. They're coming off an 11-point loss at home, but they're just better than Florida International. The first time they got them, they beat them by 6 points. Okay, the line's 4.5 here. I still think they're able to do it again. I know, again, they only won by 6 the first time around, but they're just the better scoring team. Adrian Woolley averages 18.5 for Kennesaw State. Simeon Cottle averages 18 as well. Braden Liu averages 10 points. Florida International just struggles to score. I mean, Jaden Brewer is their guy. Brewer averages 14.5 points a game, but beyond him, my goodness, there's just not much scoring. They have some bigs who can score. Jonathan Ibar averages 10. Their center, Vinny Solichum, averages 10 points a game as well. But there's just not much going on here in terms of pure scores on FIU, and I don't think they're able to win this game for one, and I don't think they're able to cover 4.5 points either. I'd expect, again, Kennesaw State to improve on that first victory they got in Kennesaw, Georgia. I think, again, it's just going to be an expansion of that first victory. And again, Kennesaw, I'm not going to tell you they're going to win the CUSA tourney. They're not, but they do feel like they still have stuff to play for, obviously, with potentially getting a top 4 seed into the CUSA tournament. Florida International is dead last. They're going nowhere this season, obviously. Kennesaw's the team with something to still play for. FIU's not. I get it. Sometimes that does create for weird situations where, okay, the team who's, just completely dead in the water does play and have and does, show something late in the season. I'm not expecting it to happen. I know it's hard to go on the road and win in the CUSA, but the one exception to that, I think, is Miami, Florida, and the Florida International Panthers. So we're going to take Kennesaw State to just go out here and outscore FIU. I don't think FIU is able to match them scoring-wise. Yes, Kennesaw had a bad game the other day against the New Mexico State Aggies. I think they bounce back. I'm taking the Kennesaw State Owls on the road to cover 4.5 and win outright, obviously, as well. But we're playing the 4.5. That's the best bet. Give me the Kennesaw State Owls on the road to cover in Miami. We go on to our final game of the video. Okay, guys. I told myself I was never doing this again. You see this chair I'm sitting on? When UC Riverside decided to lose to Cal Poly, I threw this chair about 5 times. You know the anger that went through my body, okay? For one, I hate UC Riverside, this absolute cesspool enough, okay? Get that out of the way. Maybe someday I'll do a story time about why I hate UC Riverside so much. Probably not, but maybe I will someday. Maybe, in like 10 years. This team decided to lose to Cal Poly. Okay, that's for one. For two, you know how much they were winning by with 1 minute and 30 seconds left in this basketball game against Cal Poly? And I know what you're thinking. Oh, well, on the screen you have UC Riverside winning again. I know, I'll get to that. But I've been waiting this entire video to go over this, okay? So UC Riverside in this game with Cal Poly, right? They're winning, you know, it's a close game, first half, early second half, but Barrington Hargis, who's one of the best players in this entire conference, you know, with Tate Jones being the top player in the conference, then Ben Leichten being number 2. He's having just an okay day. He's not, you know, having the Barrington Hargis games we saw in UCR's victories over UC San Diego and UC Irvine, undoubtedly the 2 best teams in the conference, by the way. Regardless, this team is winning 87-79 with less than 2 minutes left to play. Okay? They knock down a 3 to go up by 8 points. Cal Poly responds by hitting a 3. Okay, UCR gets fouled. Yes, Cal Poly starts playing the foul game basically with 2 minutes to go. Annoying? Yes, but still. All right, UCR sinks 2 free throws. Cal Poly hits a layup. All right, back up by 5, okay? What happens? UCR gets fouled again. They start fouling already. UCR hits another 2 free throws to go back up by 7. So they're up by 7 with 90 seconds left. Cal Poly, Isaac Jesup throws up the dumbest 3 I've ever seen and hits it from beyond the arc. He just pulls up from, you know, literally the top of the key and sinks it. Okay, 4-point game. All right, there's 1 minute 20 left. UCR breaks the press of Cal Poly, and they don't get fouled. They go up for a dunk and finish. Up by 6. Cal Poly comes right back down the court. Literally 8 seconds later, they get fouled. Jared Hyder makes a layup. Hargis fouls him and 1. Okay, it's a 3-point game with 1 minute 20 seconds left. So now Cal Poly says, all right, we're going to lay off. We're not going to foul because there's 1 minute 10 seconds left. All right, UC Riverside, Barrington Hargis hits a jumper from the free throw line. He hits it up by 5 with 1 minute left. Jared Hyder runs right down the court, pulls up like top of the key, boom, hits a 3-pointer. It's a 2-point game. Okay, 95-53. There's 20 seconds left. Okay, UCR takes a bad mid-range shot, misses. Okay, Cal Poly gets fouled. They hit both free throws. It's a tie game. UCR then proceeds to miss a shot early, and Barrington Hargis missed a shot as time expires. They go to overtime. A monumental collapse, and then what happens in overtime? I'll save you the light of day. Cal Poly outscores UCR 17-5 in overtime, and Cal Poly had 2 of their starters. They were fouled out. So we already hate this piece of shit place enough. But we're doing it again. Guys, I don't see a world where they lose to Hawaii. Cal Poly's bad, but they kind of been playing with some momentum. You know, they had the win over Long Beach State. They beat Cal State Bakersfield, right? Okay, there is no world where this UCR team that beat Irvine and beat San Diego loses to the Rainbow Warriors, who have been atrocious their last, 6 games. Guys, this team, listen to their victories. Listen to them. They're only able to beat the crap teams. And I get it. Hawaii beat them the first time around. But it's different. Trust me, UCR is much better than they once were, okay? Again, since UCR's lost to Hawaii, they've beat UCSD, they beat CSUN, and they've beaten UCI. I'm pretty sure they beat CSUN. Pretty sure. That was before they beat CSUN? They played Hawaii? Regardless, whatever. They beat CSUN. Okay. What has happened since that Hawaii win over UC Riverside? They've only beaten crap teams. Fullerton twice, Bakersfield, and Long Beach State. They've lost every other spot. Davis, Irvine, UCSD, Cal Poly, Santa Barbara, Irvine, San Diego. And I get it. It's tough for teams to go to Hawaii and win. But guys, I've watched so many Hawaii games over the last 2 seasons, and obviously, their team changed a lot from last year to this year, but trust me, sometimes there's just nothing to watch at midnight, or now 9 o'clock when I'm over here, when all the games are over. So sometimes you just get stuck watching Hawaii basketball because there's nothing else on. This team struggles to score so much. They have no identity on offense. it's usually Tanner Christensen, but a good center is able to take him away. Joel Armatrading is going to dominate that matchup tonight. And Barrington Hargress, buddy. If you don't have a good game tonight, I just don't know what to say. I believe he passed the 1,000 point mark in UCR career history the other night in that loss to Cal Poly. This team has to be pissed off. I mean, they have to be. If UCR loses this game, I hate this school enough. Guys, they're going on the lifetime ban list, okay? UC Riverside will never be spoken of ever again. If UC Riverside loses this game, I refer to them as a cesspool because UC Riverside itself is a cesspool. It's an absolute dog shit place, okay? But if UC Riverside cannot beat the Hawaii Rainbow Warriors on the road tonight, I am never referring to the school as its actual name ever again. I'm not even in reference. I'm just like, oh, let's look at Irvine's resume. They had one game where they beat UCR and lost UCR the other game. No. We are never referring to them as UCR again. They are just cesspool, okay? I will refuse that. I will not use their logo. They will be banned from everything. We are going to wipe UC Riverside off the face of the earth if they don't beat Hawaii tonight. That's not a threat. I want to make that very clear. Okay, we're going to stop mentioning them. We're not going to actually do anything to the school. I want to make that very clear. We're just gonna stop referring to them as UCR. We're gonna blur their logo and just put a boom cesspool right on top of them. Okay. With that being said, the pick is UC Riverside. If anything makes sense, they will go to Hawaii and win. Hawaii has been playing horribly. They don't know how to score the basketball. Their only consistent scoring recently has been feeding their bigs. Okay, Tanner Christensen, Namiska. That's really been their only scoring threat. Ryan Rapp kind of scores. Ryan Rapp's led their team in scoring two of the last three games, and he scored 10 and 9 points. Again, they don't score. 44 points against UCSD. I get that team's good, but 44 points. 49 against Irvine. 62 against horrible Long Beach State. They don't score, and their only really consistent scoring option is Tanner Christensen. Well, he's going to be on a very good defensive player as long as Armatrading doesn't get into foul trouble like he did at Cal Poly. It should be game over. Hawaii's not going to be able to score. If you have to rely on the Rainbow Warriors to shoot, they will lose. So give me this cesspool. UC Riverside, by the way, they're not going in my good graces if they win this game. There's not going to be, again, just banned from existence, right? They better win this game, okay? There's no other option for UC Riverside. Get it done, or again, we will never refer to UC Riverside as UC Riverside ever again, okay? Again, this is the cesspool, the sequel, okay? If anything makes sense, they're going to win this game. Barrington Hargress should score 25 points. Isaiah Moses, who can shoot it, should score 20 points as well. And Joel Armatrading should have at least 3 blocks of Tanner Christensen. Give me UC Riverside all day long. And if they don't win, I don't care if we go 4-1 tomorrow. This is the only loss. Tomorrow will be something if they don't win. UC Riverside, get it done. And again, I legitimately say this because I actually think they're going to win. So, I'm just going to be even more pissed if they don't. Minus 120 UCR, get it done or banned from existence. Okay. Folks, that does it for our college basketball best bets here on February 27th. If you haven't yet, though, make sure that subscribe button down below for more. Make sure to leave a like if you did enjoy the video. Make sure to comment if you do disagree with any of the picks. We'll be back tomorrow for more college basketball best bets. Folks, thank you all for watching, and Mamba forever.